What's going on, everyone? My name's Tenebris, and Generation Zero needs grappling hooks. Okay. This one might fly as well as the hoverboard skateboard idea from a few weeks back, but it's something I actually think would be huge for our little Swedish machine apocalypse simulator. From offering expanded verticality and our open world exploration, saving us from the most lethal thing in GZ, fall damage, and all while expanding greatly on fighting big machines in the game, which I think it's safe to say is one of the funnest things in Generation Zero. My thoughts on this is that with our most recent weapon pack offering us a refreshed look at equipment with a new resistance coat of paint, expanding our arsenal from the typical military weapons into a realm where we could creatively see much more of this high-low tech gear. And one of the first ideas of a high-low tech weapon similar to the newly introduced bow is a grappling hook launcher. Before we get into the real meat and potatoes of this discussion video, I gotta say, there are three things that make a good video game: explosions, jetpacks, and grappling hooks. We've got that first one down lock, but the other two, both are things that I could see having a huge benefit to Generation Zero, especially as late game gear to expand on players' gameplay after completing the main campaign. So as of right now, we're limited to two methods of movement in the game: on foot or by bike. This would offer us a new, more vertical means of transportation, building on the recent focus on verticality in Generation Zero's game world. It would offer us a faster method of transportation, cutting down on travel time, but again being limited to the late game so as to not fast-track new players' experience too much. Now, a lot of folks will jump to something like the classic handheld Batman-style grappling hook, and as sick as something like that would be, or something super high-tech like the arm-mounted Just Cause ProTech Grappler G3, I think something real-worldy would not only wind up being more visually unique, but also would fit the whole fighting giant evil machines with a resistance kind of vibe too. So instead of that, why don't we go with something from the IRL here, with the Helix REBS Compact Launcher. This is designed to assist in military and tactical situations, and the concept of this big, beefy grenade launcher punching some big-ass grappling hook into a tank faceplate, for us to then swing around on them and get at their fuel cells and back bits, would actually be pretty crazy to pull off. I feel like the proportions of a larger launcher combined with some slight controllability and being able to perform a swinging type like motion would wind up with this really sick and unique feeling grapnel gun. So let's talk about how all of this could work, because there are a lot of examples of grappling hooks in video games, but today I've got two in mind for the basis of inspiration. The first of which being the function of this boyo, which I'm gonna look at Halo Infinite for in this regard. The grappling hook in Halo Infinite is an incredibly well done grappling hook, offering a ton of freeform movement and exploration. You have two realms of control over this grappling hook, one being the line of sight and the other being light player control. Depending on where you're looking will slightly alter how the grappling hook launches you, and then whether or not you swing your character will also alter how you grapple. A similar but slightly more confined approach could be used where the overhead swinging isn't so much a thing, but the sideward swinging and how the player could interact with that is the real focus. A good swing like this would be monumental for any sort of grappling hook or tethering system in Generation Zero. Then, the one game that really spurred this idea on, Just Cause, the titular grappling hook video game. One made in the same engine as Generation Zero even, and in the latest edition, a real unique spin on how grappling hooks can serve as a utility weapon in video games. In Just Cause 4, the grappling hook can add boosters or pulleys to things in the world, allowing you to use the grappling hook for much more utility than just your typical grapple and go. In Generation Zero, we could maybe see a few different types of grappling hooks to utilize. a standard one, an EMP one that EMPs the machine you grapple to, and an explosive variant that explodes mid-swing, causing a small amount of splash damage and launching you much further horizontally. This freeform, use-as-you-see-fit type grappling launcher would be awesome in the game, offering unique approaches to combat and exploration. I could see the explosive mid-swing launcher being used for movement tech to traverse the world faster, and the EMP variant would allow for some real big plays on all machines that are affected by EMPs. Now for the last, I guess, important bit here in this brainstorm. What would this grapnel gun look like? We can't straight up use the Helix REBS in the game unless Helix is looking for some video game guerrilla style marketing, but instead swinging back around to the Resistance aesthetic that we found in the new Resistance weapons pack. What if this was themed in a similar makeshift approach? I think it would be excellent design-wise myself. Looking at factions in the future of Generation Zero, this would be a great thing to lock into a faction, giving reason and purpose to joining them. But that's something we'll be talking about in a future video. Either way though, giving us a reason to join and a reward like this for doing so is part of the basis of how I think factions should work in the game. But circling on back to the design, we could see this as some sort of a large launcher, repurposed from components found inside of the Harvester's pneumatic drill, alongside the pistons that power Hunter jumps, propelling the grappling hook at borderline near subsonic speeds to impale the machine or piece of the environment you're targeting. Maybe then a thumb button to press to start reeling in the grapple, and some sort of a typical rifle as kind of like the basis of the thing that you're going to be holding. Combine all of this together and you start to see what I'm seeing hopefully here. Or at least see what I'm saying. A half-freeform grappling hook that would offer us the ability to save ourselves from fall damage, use in unique and interesting strategies against the machines, would benefit factions and making those feel unique from one another, benefit exploration and maneuverability throughout the world, and most of all, would look dang cool in its makeshift resistance-y form. So, there we go, my dudes, another idea where I think it would be awesome to see in the game, but it doesn't mean that this has to happen. Something like this would probably take a ton of developmental work and time, but personally to me, the long-lasting benefits of increased mobility will be huge for returning and long-time players. So, let me know, what do you think of a grapnel gun in Generation Zero? Think it would fit? Am I off my rocker again with this one? Let me know all of your thoughts and feelings in the comments down below. But for now, thank you for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, peace.